Hi guys, welcome to Sosin classes. This is Hima Hegde presenting before you the current and contemporary affairs in anthropology. The first topic for the day is religious leaders. All societies have individuals whose job is to guide or supplement the religious practices of the others. These religious leaders may be priests, shamans, or prophets. In reality, some individuals may at times have the functions of more than one of these categories. Speaking of priest, a religious leader who is part of an organized religion is considered to be a priest or a priestess. Of course, different religions have different terms for these individuals. They may be known as rabbis, ministers, mullahs, imams, or something else. These individuals are keepers of the sacred law and tradition. They are mostly found in large scale societies. Priests are authorized by a priesthood or some other religious organization to perform religious rituals designed to influence the supernatural world and guide the believers in religious practices. Priests personally do not have supernatural powers at their commands. Speaking of shamans, a shaman is a person who is not a part of an organized religion and is in direct contact with the spirit world, usually through a trance state. A shaman has spirit helpers at his or her command to carry out the curing, divining, and bewitching. Shamanistic powers are acquired individually, usually in physical and or mental solitude and isolation from other human beings. Spirits or some other supernatural entities are revealed to the shaman and he or she learns how to control them. Shamans are common in small scale societies. However, they do not completely disappear in large scale societies that have organized religions. For example, the Philippines and in some American Philippine communities, there are individuals who perform spirit surgeries. Now, speaking of prophet, a prophet is an individual who receives divine revelation concerning a restructuring of religion, and usually of society as well. They call for dramatic change, while priesthoods usually act as conservative forces in preserving long standing traditions. Not surprisingly, prophets are usually outside of the priesthood and are seen by priests as different when compared to their own self. If a prophet is successful in convincing enough people that he or she is right, a new religion is usually established. That was the case with Muhammad and the beginning of Islam. Let us now move on to learn about acclimatization. Acclimatization is any of the numerous gradual or long term responses of an organism to the changes in its environment. Such responses are more or less habitual and reversible should environmental conditions revert to an earlier state. The numerous sudden changes that evoke rapid and short term responses via the nervous and hormonal systems are not examples of acclimatization. An individual organism can regulate its internal process rapidly to sustain itself within the gradual range of environmental changes that it encounters hourly or daily. But this rapid regulation or homeostasis is limited in its operation to a general or to a small range of environmental variations. Homeostatic regulation usually cannot meet effectively large environmental changes such as those that would allow a plant or animal living in the warmth of summer to function in the cold of winter. As summer wanes, the organisms change their substance and their habits in seeming anticipation of the coming winter. This gradual adjustment to conditions is acclimatization. In contrast to changes that occur during growth and development, acclimatization, as defined, refers to an adaptive change that is reversible when conditions return to their former condition. Now, this does not leave a lasting impression upon the genetic mechanisms of the acclimatized organism. The adaptation or the evolution, the adaptation of populations to change the effects, evolution by the selection of genetic capability is a different process from the acclimatization of an individual. So, here there are no genetic changes. In dealing with acclimatization, the influence of climate upon life can be treated under the headings of adjustments to temperature, humidity, salinity, light, pressure, and certain chemical substances in the environment. Because organisms do not have unlimited combinations of adaptations, they may use similar processes to adopt the changes of different origins. For example, in acclimatization to the low pressure of oxygen, that is hypoxia, in high mountains, animals, including man, improve the capacity of blood to transport oxygen by increasing the number of RBC. In the chronic disease emphysema, the inadequate supply of oxygen to the lungs is to some degree compensated for by similar polycythemia. Lastly, Tourette syndrome.
A speech on Tourette syndrome, something I happen to have. Cherries. So you'll be hearing all kinds of twitches, or seeing twitches, and hearing some of my tics.
Tourette syndrome is a disorder that involves repetitive movements or unwanted sounds called as tics that can't be easily controlled. For instance, you might repeatedly blink your eyes, shrug your shoulders, or blurt out unusual sounds or offensive words. Tics typically show up between ages 2 and 15, with the average being around 6 years of age. Males are about 3 to 4 times more likely than females to develop Tourette syndrome. Although there is no cure for Tourette syndrome, treatments are available. Many people with Tourette syndrome don't need treatment when symptoms aren't troublesome. Tics often lessen or become controlled after the teen years. Speaking of symptoms, the tics, that is, the sudden, brief, intermittent movements or sounds, are the hallmark signs of, of the Tourette syndrome. They can range from mild to severe. Severe symptoms might significantly interfere with communication, daily functioning, and quality of life. Now, tics are classified as simple tics and complex tics. In the video that is playing, you can see the boy undergoing troubles such as experiencing symptoms, mainly the tics and other twitches. So, tics are classified as simple tics, which are sudden, brief, and repetitive tics and they involve a limited number of muscle groups, and there are complex tics. These distinct these are distinct coordinated patterns of movements and involve several muscle groups. Tics can also involve movement, that is motor tics, or sounds, that is vocal tics. Motor tics are begin before the vocal tics do, but the spectrum of tics that people experience is quite diverse. Before the onset of motor or vocal skills, one is likely to experience bodily symptoms. With great effort, some people with Tourette syndrome can temporarily stop or hold back a tic. So that is it for today. Hope you found it informative. Thank you.